Kamala Harris is a DEI candidate. A lot of competition, Mason.
Yeah, exactly.
Good to see you.
Good to see you again.
Can I define what a DEI candidate is?
I think that you're going to say because she's black and she's a woman, she was appointed because Joe Biden promised that, and it's not a testament to her success.
Not only that, but also in her getting the nomination of the Democrat Party, they said repeatedly, we do not want to pass over a black female.
Okay.
So just those two things, but the first one is stronger. You're right. Joe Biden said, I'm going to put on my vice presidency a black female.
Right.
Right. So his criteria
was kept.
Yeah, and that was like Karen Bass and Kamala Harris.
Okay.
So she was not chosen because of her intellect or her accomplishments or because of any of that. It was because she happened to fit a couple boxes. In fact, Amy Klobuchar, the vetting at the time was that Amy Klobuchar would have been a better VP, and Kamala ended up getting it. So it's just a statement of fact that she is there not because of her brilliance or accomplishments, but because of her ethnicity.
So Kamala Harris, first and foremost, there are a lot of criticisms that you can give to her on why she wouldn't be an effective president. It shouldn't be because she's a woman or because she's black. And it seems to be that you're saying that is a criticism.
I just want people to understand and agree she didn't earn this.
She absolutely did. She has a career where she's been not only a DEA.
DEI stands for
one of the biggest.
Didn't earn it, just so we're clear. But like
it stands for diversity, equity, inclusion. I like the meme though.
I know it.
Diversity and have a better perception.
He said
in forms of government.
He said at the South Carolina debate that I will pick a black woman as my vice president. Secondly, Amy Klobuchar came out.
Is this a random black woman that you plucked off the street? Or is this a qualified DEA general attorney who's had a decorated career leading government positions? But you keep rambling about things that just aren't relevant to what we're talking about.
It is relevant. Amy Klobuchar in vetting came across as the more qualified candidate.
Why?
Because they said Kamala Harris wasn't very smart, wasn't very bright. That's their own vetting documents.
From who?
Joe Biden's own vetting documents.
So why would he go against that?
Because the base of the Democrat Party demands tribal politics and DEI politics over competency.
That's completely inaccurate.
He stated to Jim Clyburn said, I will only endorse you in the South Carolina primary if you say that you're going to put a black person, preferably a black female, on your ticket with you. Therefore, you winnow the entire universe down and say, I'm only going to choose from this criteria. And let's just think more broadly. If you're about to have heart surgery, would you rather have a heart surgeon that's good and excellent, knows what he's doing, or someone that is a black female? And being president's more important than being a heart surgeon.
Aren't you on record saying that you'd be terrified if there was a black pilot
that
was flying your airplane?
I did say that, but why?
Okay, cool.
What was the full quote?
I personally, I don't know. If you want to expand on that.
Yeah, so this ties into this. United Airlines said that half of all their new hirees are going to be black or women, and that standards and pursuit of excellence is not going to be taken as seriously as diversity. When I'm flying a plane, I want to know my pilot is there because they're a good pilot, not because they fit some DEI box.
Damn it, I wish we could have a better conversation.
I'm sorry, man.
Amanda. So you believe because Kamala is black and a woman, she was chosen for vice president?
It's not my own belief. Her own team, Joe Biden said that. He said,
Biden said that?
Yeah, he said, because beforehand he said, I'm going to choose a black female for vice president. He didn't say, I'm going to choose the most gifted or the most talented or the most accomplished. He said, I'm going to choose a black female. And so by definition, that is DEI.
That is not the definition of DEI. By him saying that he was going to choose a black female, that could insinuate that he already had Kamala in mind for the role. No way does that insinuate that she's DEI.
Well, what is DEI then?
DEI would be...
choosing somebody based on their race?
No. It's giving people of color the opportunity to be welcomed into spaces in which they typically aren't able to get into.
There's never been a female black vice president.
And why do you think that is?
Well, not why. You just said that's DEI.
So
by definition, she's DEI.
Okay, so she represents diversity within the government, is what you're saying.
She got elevated because she was a black female. Because
if that were the case, I'd be the president right now.
Do you think Kamala Harris was chosen because of her intelligence?
Her qualifications and her intelligence.
Really? Wow.
If you compare a speech with Kamala...
What's her greatest accomplishment?
Probably being prosecutor within the Northern Californian area.
You mean letting out violent criminals and turning San Francisco one of the most murderous, dangerous, arson-filled, homeless-filled slums in the country?
Wow.
That's her greatest accomplishment?
See, I actually went to UC Berkeley, so I lived there. I don't know if you did. I went around the area.
Berkeley is a slum.
Berkeley is a slum. Have you stepped into Berkeley?
Yes, I have. You think Oakland and Berkeley?
Have you lived in Berkeley? I've lived in Oakland as well.
Do you think,
you're basing your
You think the Bay Area is like a good area in this country?
I'm from Vegas, so I'm not from the Bay. Born and raised in Vegas and went to UC Berkeley. Just graduated this year. What you're saying literally in no way, shape,
So I
or
just
form
want to be
makes
clear.
sense.
So you think her overseeing San Francisco becoming the laughingstock of the country is
San
her greatest
Francisco is not
accomplishment?
the laughingstock of the country. If anything, that's Florida. No offense, but
Well, hold on. If that's the case, why are millions of people moving to Florida and millions of people leaving California?
because there are cheaper rates there. People are moving to Las Vegas. Las Vegas has changed as a whole.
It's cheaper because it's a better run state, and we don't give money to
Listen,
illegals,
Northern
and we
California
have
is
better
not
schools and
all.
lower
Northern
crime.
California is not the entirety of California.
Hold on a second, but
there's Southern California, Northern California.
Why is it that
it's
so
a
many
very big
businesses
state.
are leaving San Francisco if she did such a great job lowering crime?
Do you know businesses go where things are cheapest to operate?
Why are they cheaper? Because they're better run states.
Do you realize that California is one of the most populated states within the U.S.? So obviously
So is
costs are going
Texas
to be
and
higher.
California.
Not only that, but land within this state is also very,
Yes.
very, very minimal. So that's
Well, hold on, you have tons of land. You're one of the biggest states
yes,
in
it
the
is
country.
one of the biggest lands. But do you also take into account the population that's here?
Yes,
And due
Florida
to that,
and Texas have a greater combined population than California, and California has more population and more land mass than Florida. Why is it that San Francisco has a declining population and Miami, Tampa, Orlando have an increasing population?
what does this have to do with DEI?
Because she ran San Francisco poorly, and she was chosen as a VP because she was a black
She
woman.
didn't run San Francisco poorly.
She was the DA of San Francisco.
So
and then
she's prosecuted.
And then she became the AG of California, where crime went up, homelessness went up, arson went up, kidnapping went
She's
up,
not the
murder went up.
police.
Hold
Isn't
on.
that the job of the
Hold on a
police
second.
to get the criminals and for her?
The attorney general of the state is the top cop of the state.
Yes.
And what did she do to lower crime in California?
She convicted those who were guilty.
Why did crime go up?
Because as the population increases and
Then-
this
got it. So
economy gets
why-
worse, no.
why is
As
Flor-
the
why is
economy gets
Florida's
worse,
crime rate going
people
down?
are becoming more and more desperate, which leads to paths of crime.
Thank you.
So real quick, you're saying that the only reason she was elected is because she's black?
Well, first
So
of all,
that trumps her being a district attorney and all
First
the
of all, this is
accomplishments
not
she
my
has?
words. I'm just going on Joe Biden's own words.
Okay.
Joe Biden said, I'm going to preset criteria based on black women, and therefore she met that criteria, and that's why she was selected.
No, why? I think what he was trying to say is, she's just black. She was just calling her black. She's not saying I'm doing. He's not saying
he made a
he's
public
not
promise.
saying I'm doing this because she's black.
No,
That's not what she
He
said.
made a public promise before the selection even began and the process began. I will put a black woman on the ticket.
So you're saying her being district attorney doesn't matter. That's not why.
No, I
But
think she
yet,
did- no, no, I'm saying she
Trump
did an awful
being
job.
a failed businessman and
Well-
making all the weird comments he's made.
But- no, I'm
yet
saying she
Trump
did an awful
being a
job.
failed businessman and
Well-
making all the weird comments he's made.
Well, hold on a second.
That doesn't have any
What I'm getting at, though, is that if she was not a black woman, she never would have been chosen as vice president. Her
I know
record
that's
was
true.
abysmal. She was a terrible attorney general of California. She did
No.
poorly. Wallace was only chosen because the Democrat Party is doing so poorly with white men that they tried to find a white man that they could put on the ticket.
But then also,
It's true. Tim Wallace is the first white DEI candidate in history.
Okay, in the Democratic primaries, Kamala Harris
it's
was
true.
performing incredibly
He
well.
agrees.
And she wasn't performing well in the primaries just because she was black. She was performing well in the primaries because during her time as
Hold
a
on.
senator, she spoke incredibly eloquently.
What-
I used to watch when
Hold
I
on a
was
second.
little.
How
Yeah.
did she do in the Democrat primaries?
She did much better than Amy Klobuchar.
Hold on a second. She didn't even make it to Iowa. She dropped out months ahead of the first primary. She was super unpopular, not well liked. Her campaign fizzled out. So she was
popular
awful.
initially.
Initially, yes. And then
Yes.
the more people learned about her, the more realized she was awful.
Well, it was mostly because progressives are really upset about her being a DA, which can be that's a
Hold
completely
on.
different
Why
conversation.
aren't progressives
But-
upset about that now?
I mean, they are, but
They are?
But
That's news to me.
But, I
Everyone's
mean,
talking about how great a
no,
prosecutor she is.
progressives are definitely upset about the how the Biden administration has handled the atrocities in Gaza and how there are definitely things that Democrats are upset about. However, that's not the point of this conversation. And
That's correct. That is not the point.
that's
Correct.
not the point. What the point is that a lot of
The big surge.
She's doing
I
good.
would caution you being a little this point in the election getting too cocky because we remember what happened with
I'm not
Hillary
getting
Clinton.
cocky. I'm asking you to answer a question. If she is incompetent, how could she beat
Well,
the president, who you said is an amazing
As of the
president?
timing of this filming,
for-
can you name to me how many times she sat down for an interview?
What?
She refuses to
No.
talk to the press, refuses to take questions. She's done not one sit-down interview in nearly 25 days at the filming of this interview, mind you.
I
which
think
don't know
that
when
is
this will be
a
posted.
very weird point to make.
Well,
why would I
why is it-
count how many times Kamala
Well,
Harris
because
has
it's
had
zero,
an interview?
because she refuses to take questions from the press and media. Shouldn't you do that if you're the sitting vice president?
She's
He actually did 3 last Sunday and 1 today with Meet the Press.
so the quality,
with
the
Kirsten
qualification
Welker.
of a
I'm
good
debating her, though.
president is to take an interview.
If you can't take a single question, but let me ask you this because it's on you. What's her greatest accomplishment as vice president?
As vice president, being the first female all-black president. We've never had that
No.
before.
Like I got that, but like, what's her accomplishment that made people's lives better?
I don't know. Vice presidents don't really do much, to be honest.
Can you name one thing she's done that's good?
No, probably not. Thank you. The Inflation Reduction Act.
Oh, really? Did that lower inflation?